After being off the sourcing radar for almost a decade, suddenly everyone is starting to talk about Pakistan. The combination of brands looking to diversify sourcing and the benefits of having an entire supply chain in country from fiber to finished garment is putting a shine on Pakistan and boosting it up the sourcing tier list. But Pakistan is more than simply another one of the countries where brands used to source until they found places they liked better. I'm Jane Singer, and welcome back to A Seat at the Table, where we sit down with industry leaders, innovators, and entrepreneurs to help us discover hidden opportunities, big ideas, and best practices. To learn more about the massive opportunities in Pakistan, I reached out to my good friend Will Bettendorf, a director of South Asia and supply chain marketing at Cotton Council International. If anyone knows the real opportunities in a country, it's Will. He has spent well over 2 decades working with the biggest mills and manufacturers. And so he not only knows Pakistan, but he also is able to accurately compare and contrast many of the other key sourcing countries. Recently, I had the opportunity to join him and his team at a CCI event in Pakistan, where I was able to meet some of the industry's leading manufacturers and buying offices and learn more about the strategic opportunities that the country offers, especially as we face a much more complex sourcing environment. Now, before we get started, if you're wondering what other sourcing executives are thinking and how they're reacting to a lot of the current market challenges, then you might want to take a look at the current situation in sourcing. These 6-page quarterly reports give you a peer view of the market, and they help you to avoid blind spots and also to be able to benchmark your own internal market intelligence. To learn more, go to thecurrentsituation.net, and I'll also leave a link in the notes and the description for this video. Now, let's sit down and find out what's happening in Pakistan. Well, I am so happy that you are here with us because we had such an exciting time in Pakistan doing the seminars with the whole group there. People from Europe, people from other parts of Asia, all joining us. I think it was terrific. There was just so much energy and momentum. So I wanted to really sit down with you now and be able to recap some of that, because I think a lot of people listening to this are looking for new sourcing destinations. And a lot of people are not, in my opinion, giving Pakistan as much attention as they might. So maybe you could share what you see around that. You certainly know that market a lot better than I do.
Yeah, Jane, you're right. Pakistan has so much potential, and they've got a really great, robust industry that a lot of people have no idea about because it really hasn't been on a lot of people's kind of radar. You know, there's some history there that kind of scared people off, but the country now is very calm, and the textile industry are poised and in position to satisfy, I think, brands and retailers all around the world, not just the U.S. market or Europe. They're really catering to, I think, all the needs of the market. The industry is while there's a history there, the mills have invested huge amounts in the latest machinery. So when you visit a factory there, you'll see very clean, like Japanese clean textile mills that are operating with the newest possible equipment. And thankfully for us, they use a lot of cotton from the United States, which is considered to be quite, high quality as well. They grow their own cotton, of course, but their textile needs are so great that they have to import a lot of cotton as well. And lucky for us, the U.S. is the #1 supplier to the textile mills in Turkey. So we're fortunate with that.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. And oftentimes, like you're saying, when we think of Pakistan, we're thinking of the old days, right? That image
Right.
is sort of stuck in people's minds. And I've learned a lot too, being on that trip and meeting so many people from the industry there with you guys. It's really interesting to see that Pakistan has advanced far beyond our stereotypical image of what the industry there is like. And as you're pointing out, not just the equipment, but that it's vertically integrated, which plays a very key role in, in that whole supply chain side of things, reliability, traceability. And, I think if we're talking about that, maybe you could share a little bit about, you touched on U.S. cotton, but traceability is so important right now for people. I know U.S. cotton has a lot around that. Maybe you could talk about that a bit.
Sure. The United States has a very good traceability system, starting with the bale of cotton that has what we call the permanent bale identification ticket on each bale. So that individual one bale is labeled. We know where it came from. We know all of its quality specs, and that is traced throughout the supply chain using the U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol's blockchain system, which is provided by Textile Genesis. That's our strategic partner. So under the U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol, we can trace that bale literally from the gin where it was produced here in the States all the way to the factory that's producing that final apparel product. And that's obviously going to end up on the retail shelf. There have been yeah, it is very impressive. The technology advancements change, I would say, like every 6 months, maybe even more often than that. Textile Genesis have had quite a few updates recently, and now they can provide even better product, now more than ever before. The traceability is also important, especially now with the tariffs that have been announced by the Trump administration, and through other technologies that are out there, we can verify also the origin of the cotton and if that cotton is blended. So using or harnessing technology today, brands and retailers really don't have anything to be concerned about when they source their products. And the Pakistani industry have embraced all of this totally. They're very active mills that are part of the U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol that are supplying international brands and retailers. Those brands and retailers are primarily located in the United States and in Europe. And they have the security of the TG system and also some of the forensic testing conducted by companies such as Oratane. And it's very, very impressive. Yeah, yeah. And like you say, it's a one-stop shop. So they don't import a lot of yarn and fabric into Pakistan. Mainly they export their textile products. So it's good that everything is located right there in country.
Yeah, that's a huge win. And I know a lot of the European buying offices that I speak to really are very concerned about meeting the very strict regulations in the EU and how they can manage it because it really is a huge task. So to be able to have everything in one place like that just adds, or should I say, takes away a lot of the stress, right? It's a huge add-on benefit, but it takes away a lot of the moving parts that you have to manage when you have a supply chain that's coming in from all over the place and you have to manage each bit of it. So that's a very big win for Pakistan. I think that when you're talking about Pakistan and some of the advantages that it has, I know there are other countries that of course have some fabric capabilities, but in addition to that, what do you see as sort of unique benefits of Pakistan, based on your experience there?
The unique benefits of Pakistan. They have many textile companies that are vertically integrated. So they handle the production of the yarn all the way to the production of the final garment. So that supply chain is all under one roof. Many of their larger companies are totally vertically integrated. So so there's no risk really of having a lot of outside material coming in that would maybe jeopardize the viability of your supply chain. So I think that's kind of a unique aspect of the country. Of course, they have for Europe, they've got GSP, so that's a big benefit as well. And with regard to the tariffs, they have a lower tariff rate than China, Bangladesh, Vietnam, and a couple of others. So who knows what's going to happen with these tariffs as the negotiations come forward. But right now they've got a pretty competitive rate compared to some of the other major suppliers that are out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking about that, you brought up a very interesting point during your presentation about how if a manufacturer is using a certain amount of materials from the US, sourced from the US, there's a certain amount of a I don't know, credit or rebate. I'm using all the wrong language on this, Will, so sorry, but you're the expert on this. And I couldn't even consider trying to paraphrase. So maybe you could explain how that works, because when you showed the calculation, and I'm happy to, I can put a slide on later
Mhm.
on if you have that, if you want me to show that. Um, how that works, how that breaks down. It really resulted in a very significant savings for anybody who's manufacturing and using U.S. cotton, for example.
Right, right. Well, again, today, who knows what tomorrow will will hold? But
Yes.
today, that calculation that was announced by the U.S. government requires 20% of that content value. Value is the key operation word here. 20% of the value of that product has to have U.S. content. So, in other words, made with U.S. Cotton. Um, right now, there's no incentive in terms of if you use, say, 100% U.S. cotton, you don't get an additional, say, discount or savings. So right now, it's only pegged to that 20%, and then everyone has to pay the tariff. But for those that are using that 20% U.S. content value or U.S. value, then they pay a lower tariff rate. And in the example that I showed during the seminars, that had to do with a T-shirt, not undershirt, but a T-shirt. The tariff schedule will depend upon the HS code of all the different garments, of course. But in that example, it was a T-shirt, and the savings was 12 cents a unit. And it is, yeah, because these a lot of these companies they buy those by 10,000s, maybe 100,000s, and that 12 cents will add up quite a bit. And that's just a t-shirt. What about maybe, the trousers that go with it or the socks, et cetera, et cetera. So it adds up quite a bit.
Absolutely, and especially at a time when people are looking to cut every possible cost they can as they're managing tariffs. But even if we didn't have tariffs, there's always, people looking to save costs on things, because if it's not a tariff cost, it's a logistics cost or it's something else. So I think that's absolutely very, very crucial for people to understand. And I'm not sure that everybody knows that, because I have not heard a lot of people talking about it. Um, is that just for Pakistan, or is that applicable to any country?
That would be for Pakistan. That would be for,
Okay.
well, no, I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. No, I stand corrected. I believe that's for every country, but the different countries have different tariff rates.
Right, right.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so with Pakistan, you're saving about 12 cents um, on each garment if you're using U.S. cotton,
Right. Right.
roughly, following that calculation, which I'll put on the screen. I can just
Sure.
put that slide up there for people to see.
Yeah, be
So
happy to. There are some unknowns though, to be honest. The part of that calculation includes the value of the cotton in the item. And as we know, cotton is a commodity and the price changes every day, every could be every minute. So we've yet to know or get clarity from the government in terms of how do we verify the value of the cotton that's in that product. Maybe it's today cotton selling at about 65 cents, but if it's say a Supima product, it could be double that amount. So how do we record um, for the customs department the value of the fiber that was purchased to go into that item? That's yet to be decided.
yeah, I mean, I think that's it's an important thing for people to know, because I think right now people are looking for any which way, that they can possibly save money, and the fact that they have some savings there, as well as the transparency, traceability, sustainability aspect, which I know tariffs right now have just taken everybody's attention. I mean, it's
Yeah,
such a huge and chaotic issue for the industry, but that doesn't mean that the other things have gone away, right? They're just not making the big headlines, but they haven't actually disappeared off the map. And
sure.
certainly for our guys in Europe, They still have to face all of that. So it's really important. I think it just seems to me and that Pakistan is such a win for manufacturing so many different things, meeting all these criteria. And I think that, you're able to solve a lot of problems. Now, just one more question, because I know you're busy. You're a busy man, and I don't want to take up your whole day. But we often think of Pakistan as being jeans, right? T-shirts, bed sheets, linens. Um, I think that that's still a very big strength there, and certainly they have a tremendous amount of creativity around denim in particular. Are
Mm.
there other categories that you see that are emerging or that people might want to consider when they're looking at Pakistan?
Sure, sure. One strong category that they do have almost a dominance in is bottom weight wovens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they are a very good market for people who are looking for bottom weight woven fabrics. Their finishing is also quite good now. Um, so you can get all types of finishes from the manufacturers. When we were there, we did some. I think the euphemism is market research, but some people may call it shopping. We visited a very beautiful new modern shopping mall, and I was impressed at the sophistication of the fashions that we saw in the different store windows, especially ladies' wear. They have a very good strength in digital printing using, I think, the latest, newest digital printing equipment that's available in the market today. So with their, yeah, with ladies wear there in the kind of in the ethnic category, the traditional clothing has a lot of print work that's done. And so now all that has been, um, I guess, modernized quite a bit. And they use a lot of digital printing. And then, of course, there's the finishing as well that adds a very nice touch.
Yeah, that's
So,
so important. I just think that really, as you're saying, and the bit that I've seen, of course, I have a lot less experience in the market than you do. It just seems that Pakistan just checks the box on so many things, from having that whole supply chain in country, the sustainability side, the traceability side, the benefits even on the lower tariffs. It just seems that there's so many opportunities there, and I think that some of our friends who are sourcing there and are happy to have this as their secret. You know what I mean? They're like, oh,
think,
nobody else is here yet. Um,
I think you're
so
right. I
yeah,
think you're
some of
right.
them are going to listen to this and say, Jane, I wish you wouldn't have had, broadcast this because we were sort of happy having the place to ourselves.
Right.
But
Right. Yeah. And they're coming. There's one major U.S. retailer that I think every American would recognize their name. Their office is expanding quite a bit there. And we had a
wow.
speaker from that company at our seminar, and he said that Pakistan is a strategic target for them. So they are expanding quite a bit. So more and more companies are discovering Pakistan. So my advice to your listeners is get in quick and secure that space while you can, because I think it's going to get more and more challenging to secure in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with you. I think as soon as people really see what the opportunities are in Pakistan, it's going to be a surge of people coming in there. And, you may find that it's not so easy to get capacity.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And those supply chains are changing, sadly for some companies or countries, but happily the Pakistan industry is receiving a lot of this new business from shifting supply chains.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, really, the moment is just perfect. This is sort of Pakistan's golden moment, so to speak, right? Because they've done the homework, so they're prepared. It's like they say, luck is when opportunity and preparation meet. So they have the
Mhm.
preparation, and now the opportunity, right, is coming on account of the fact that there are these supply chain shifts.
I think you're right. I think you're exactly right, Jane.
Yeah. So backed by U.S. cotton as well. I mean, it's just such an incredible win.
Yep, yep. We're lucky to have Pakistan. They've been a great I guess, partner of the U.S. cotton industry for quite some time, and hopefully, as these opportunities arise, more and more U.S. brands and retailers will start looking to Pakistan for that business.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Will, thank you so much for joining us. It's just been fantastic to have you here and learn so much about Pakistan. There's so much to unpack. I'm sure people have a lot more questions. They can feel free to reach out to you
Sure.
and get a little bit more understanding around not only Pakistan, but about U.S. cotton and how that works in Pakistan to be able to provide that very sustainable garment. Sort of a low maintenance sustainability opportunity.
It's using the U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol. It's an easy win for the brands and retailers because with the package of services and security that we have, it allows brands and retailers to sleep easy at night, so they don't have to worry about having any conflict cotton in their supply chains.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'll put the links for all of this in the description on this, and people can take a look. And I would encourage people to check it out. It costs nothing to take a look. So I think it's an important thing to start exploring these opportunities.
You're right. You're right. Thank you, Jane.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much, Will. Appreciate your time.
My pleasure.